All right, today we're going to be looking at a new watch from Casio. This one was just released earlier this year in 2023. It is a digital watch. It looks a lot like a $200 G-Shock, but it's not a G-Shock. It's maybe one of the best $40 watches that Casio has ever made, which is saying a lot because Casio's made a ton of great $40 watches. Today we'll be looking at the Casio MWD 110. Let's take a look. Hey guys, welcome back to Just the Watch. My name's Dave. I live in Japan and I love to collect affordable watches. And if you take Japan and affordable watches and combine the two, you're going to come up with Casio. Now, this new watch from Casio has a couple of cool things going for it. It looks great, especially for the price. One of the things that's most interesting about this is that it has a metal bezel on it. So it's very unusual to get any amount of metal in Casio's budget watches, especially their budget digital watches. So to see that feature in a $40 watch from Casio is pretty cool. And while this watch is not a G-Shock, it bears a lot of resemblance to the G-Shock line, and yet it is also still very rugged. You're getting 100 meters of water resistance. This is a watch that's very suitable for active and rough outdoor wear. And it features a newer module inside of it, which gives it some features that you don't find on some of the entry-level G-Shocks, most notably a dual time function. Now, I actually first saw this watch when it popped up on my YouTube recommendations from a channel by Tim Johnson. It looks like he only started his channel about 3 months ago, but he's been putting out a ton of great watch reviews. And he just seems like a really cool guy. He's at just over 300 subscribers right now, so I definitely encourage you guys to go check out his channel and subscribe if you're interested in watch reviews. Now, the design of this watch, I feel like they really derived it from the G-Shock GBX 100 G-Lide model that was released, I think like a year or 2 years ago. This looks very similar to that. Totally different functionality, but very similar looks, and again, at a much lower price. The GBX 100 was around $200. Again, this one you can pick up for $40. I think I got it for about $30 here in Japan. But I think the watch that a lot of people will really be comparing this to is the DW 5600, which is a full-on G-Shock that you can also often pick up for around $40. So you might wonder why you would want to go with this watch instead of an actual G-Shock. Anyways, we'll talk about all that in this review, but let's go ahead and start diving into this watch. Size-wise, this wears a lot like a G-Shock. It's got a square case that is 46.5 millimeters across with 50 millimeters lug to lug, but it's pretty slim at only 12.3 millimeters thick, which is a lot thinner than a lot of actual G-Shocks out there. But along with that thinness, you're obviously sacrificing a lot of the ruggedness that comes with the true G-Shocks. You're not going to get the same amount of crush resistance, and you don't get the same amount of water resistance either. This one features 100 meters of water resistance rather than the standard 200 that you get from G-Shocks. Now, visually, I think this has a lot going for it. I think it actually looks better than a lot of the kind of standard G-Shock squares, especially with that metal bezel. But the resin does feel a little bit lower quality, and this is especially noticeable on the strap. It's not nearly as supple as the straps that I've seen on comparable G-Shock models. It's a little bit stiffer, but it is also a very thick strap. It's a lot more sturdy and durable than ones that I've seen on like an F91W or like on the Royale. And it looks like it would last a lot longer than those straps will, so that might be a plus for a lot of people. It looks like you're trading in some comfort for longer term durability. The crystal is acrylic and it does pick up scratches very easily. It's not very well protected by the bezel, but when you get tired of the scratches, you can easily buff them out with a little bit of polywash. And this watch also features a 10-year battery life, which is great in a watch with a retail price of $43. But if you shop around, you could probably pick one up for a little bit cheaper than that. I was able to find one for around $30 here in Japan. This being a digital watch from Casio, you're getting a lot of functions as you would probably come to expect. On the home screen, you get the time, the day, the date, and that is a perpetual calendar, so you don't have to worry about setting that pretty much ever. But you're also getting a timer, a stopwatch, an alarm, and dual time, which for me is one of my favorite things to see included on this module. Not all of the Casio modules feature dual time, but I use it all the time because I live in Japan and I have a lot of friends back in the US. And this is a particularly good implementation of the dual time complication because it allows you to see both your home time and your dual time on the same screen. That little small space in the top section will display the home time when you're on the dual time screen, with the second time zone in the main section of the display. One other thing that I love about this watch is the button layout. This is a 5-button Casio. So that means the 4 buttons on the side are free to give you quick access to all of the functions on the watch, with one big button on the front for the light. And I really like this layout, especially that easy access to the light button. It makes it very easy to access the excellent backlight on this watch. The amber LED gives off a nice strong glow that makes the watch very easy to see in the dark. And then having 4 dedicated buttons for the function of the watch, I just feel like that makes it a lot easier to use than like the 3-button Casios, as each button can be dedicated to a function that makes sense rather than having to repurpose the same button for a lot of different things. Okay, so rather than just giving you basic stopwatch and countdown timer functions, Casio decided to make things a little bit more complicated and give you a few extra options on here. So I'm going to go ahead and enable all those just to give you a demonstration of what this can do. It's going to get really annoying and lots of beeping, but yeah, it'll be fun. Let's go for it. So first off, we're in the home screen right now. You can see that because the indicator there has nothing highlighted. You'll see the little indicator move around that quadrant as we go. First one, TR, is for timer. So I have this one set to do a 30-second countdown timer, and it will beep when there's 10 seconds left. It'll beep when there's 20 seconds left. And then from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it'll give me a 1 second countdown each one. And then when it's done, it'll start beeping, and it will keep beeping until I push a button or another alarm goes off. And I have this one also set to auto reset, so it'll just keep repeating that. So every 30 seconds, it's going to be beeping. You can hear it's already beeping like crazy. 3, 2, 1, and there we go. So let's go on over to the next one. Now we're going to go over to stopwatch, which apparently I've had running this whole time, but that's okay. Go ahead and reset it. Now the stopwatch, I have this one set. It looks like, so it's got a 5-second auto start. So it was set after I press start, it waits 5 seconds and then goes. And then at 45 seconds, it's going to beep. It's got its own alarm at 45 seconds. Let's see if we can jump over to the alarm and set that while we're waiting. You'll notice that I was pressing the mode button and nothing was happening. When the watch is beeping, it deactivates everything. So the beeps make it kind of hard to adjust things. So let's see if we can bump this up to, let's go to 47. Give us a little bit more time. That might have been the stopwatch timer right there. I guess we're going up to 48. Okay. So it's beeping, so I can't change it. There. Okay. Once it stops beeping, Once it stops beeping, I can change it. Okay. So 48, 10:48. We're gonna have an alarm go off in about 40 seconds. Let's just, while we're waiting. So there's our alarm is still going crazy. Sorry, that's the timer. This one, let's reset this again. See if we can get that. So if you can see the 45-second one now. Okay, but I think before the 45-second one goes, we're going to have the alarm going off. Let's see if we can get you over to that one. Okay, so the alarm, so we're in the home screen, so the alarm should go off in 5 seconds. Something like that. Okay, so that one's the alarm. It's a little bit different. You can hear it's a different sound. But then the timer alarm just canceled our regular alarm. So there's that. Okay, let's see if we can go catch the stopwatch now. So stopwatch, when it hits 45, it's supposed to beep as well. Again, you can set all of those to whatever times you want. Oh, did it go? I guess that was it. I don't know if that was the timer or the stopwatch, but the stopwatch is supposed to beep at 45. Anyways, those are all the different settings that you can set it to. So you can kind of customize the way it's going to do. Different people will use those for different things. I'm not sure how I would use all of them. The resetting timer seems like a useful one. That seems kind of cool. Just have it automatically reset and keep counting things if you're doing some sort of repetition. It's good for that. And these things, I'm doing them in seconds to make it faster, but you can set it in hours. You can set a 12-hour repeating countdown timer or something like that. Yeah, so lots of interesting features there. Now, of course, you don't have to use all of these fancy features. You can just use it like a normal stopwatch or a normal timer on any other Casio. And I suspect that's what most people will do. But giving you these extra options is nice, and they don't get in the way of using the functions normally. If you want your stopwatch to start immediately when pressing the start button, by default, that's how it's going to act. And the same can be said with the alarm and the timer as well. All right, so conclusions on this MWD 110 from Casio. I really do like it. I think the strong point of this is the way that it looks and the fact that it gives you the dual time. I mean, there's a lot of other Casio watches in this price range that are going to be very comparable to this, that are going to beat it in certain areas. Obviously, the Royale comes to mind, where that one has a world time feature. It's probably a little bit more comfortable on the wrist, whereas this one's a little bit simpler. There's less screens to go through. Maybe you're less likely to get lost. It's not as comfortable, but the band feels more rugged. So it really depends on what you're looking for in a watch from Casio. But that's why it's so much fun looking through all of these different watches from Casio. There's so many out there, and I've actually got a few more in the house right now that I'm getting ready to do reviews on. So every once in a while, I'll try and do one of these sort of quick reviews going over the features of some of these Casio watches in the budget range. Let me know what you think of this one in particular. And if you're interested in picking up a t-shirt like this one, you can go to justthewatch.com and get it there. But that will wrap it up for today. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.